Hi, my name is Latifah, and I am coming to you today. I wanted to share some things. I wanted to share some videos with you, and I feel really good about being able to share. Um, and I think at one time in my life, I probably wouldn't have been able to be as transparent, but because of some things that I have come through, I just feel compelled to share in the event that what I've come through could help someone else. So last year was I believe it was the healing of a 26-year-old wound. And I think this journey kind of started with me as a teenager. And I had my oldest daughter in the summer of my senior year. So I had to change everything for my senior year. And during that time, my dad was not real pleased. I'm sure both of my parents were not pleased, but I could visibly see that my dad was not pleased. And matter of fact, didn't speak to me for a little while. We would be at the same dinner table and he didn't speak. So that hurt from my dad, um, the fact that my dad was hurt, and then the young man, my daughter's dad, did not stay. Of course, as a teen, well, I was thinking that, well, I'm going to be with him forever, because, looking at my parents' relationship, that's what I saw. But he actually had a son like a month before my daughter was born. So both of those things caused me hurt and left some holes, for a number of years. And so I went through, I think, different stages. I left that state. I was in Illinois at the time. I'm now in California. But how many of you know that just because you leave a place that really doesn't resolve anything? If I didn't address the issue then, of course the issue is still there. So it took me years and years and years, just kind of searching for things externally, when all the time it was something that I needed to heal on the inside. Those are things that I need to heal on the inside. So last year, I believe, was the culmination of all of those years. And but I guess I would say the last year and a half have been the most productive, probably the most uncomfortable, but the most productive years of my entire life. And so last year, this was June 2011, a number of things were happening. Some things that occurred in May, I lost of income, and then in June of 2011, I actually had to leave a place that I really, really liked, a place by the water, and I had to leave that place. And what I found is I was so distraught over all the things that were taking place. I was in a relationship and that didn't work out, and it seemed like all these things were being moved and taken away. And I felt I really, really needed to be around women. I felt like if I could just get around some women, that I could get my strength and I'd be okay. But during the process, I was questioning God. I said, why would you allow this? Just I really felt like an orphan. All this time I felt like, okay, I'm a child of God and He loves me, and He takes really, really good care of me. But at this time, I'm like, oh my God, like, where are you? Like, why are you allowing me to go through this thing? And so what I did is I left my place and I went to a women's transitional facility, a women's home. And, that's it actually turned out to be a place of peace for me. I've never really been in a situation like that. And when you say transitional home, you think of, people on maybe on drugs and alcohol, but it really wasn't the case. It was just women from a variety of different backgrounds. But I was still actually kind of fussing with God and just like, okay, this is just really strange. And can I see some type of resemblance of reality? This is not a reality that I know. Um, so, after I quieted myself in my quiet time, I would just listening, I'm a Christian. And more than a Christian, I guess I'm just a spiritual person. So just listening intently to see what the Spirit of the Lord would say. And so what I found in my quiet time, he let me know that it was a time of circumcision. And then in another quiet time, he mentioned the word sutures. This is what I heard. I'm just writing these things down, and I'm like, okay, circumcision. Okay, that has to do with the cutting of the flesh. And we know that even in the natural, okay, when the little boys go through that procedure, I'm sure it cannot be pleasant. So, same thing, this was not a pleasant experience because it was unfamiliar. And then sutures, I never use that word, but I'm thinking, okay, I think that has to do with surgery, something, something along those lines. And I was talking to a lady, and I mentioned the word sutures, and she said, "Oh, that has to do with healing." I'm like, okay, so I get that. So here, as I hear different things, and my quiet time, I would just write them down. And but I did find that, like I said, it was a place of peace. But I don't think I would have come across those women because they just were not in my circle. That hadn't gone through that. And I found that I was in the middle of my discomfort, or being uncomfortable. I was actually in the middle of a lot of answers to questions I had in the past. And one other thing is that during that time, I was making like 75% less than what I was used to making. And I really, in the natural, I felt humiliated. I knew that there was a spiritual purpose to this, but in the natural, on the surface, I felt humiliated because here I had never worked retail. I actually felt demoted. Um, but I knew that I was there for purpose. So even in my unfamiliar situation, I was still able to smile and still offer a kind word. And I really believe that that was one of the reasons that I was placed in that setting, both in a retail setting, and then also um, just around women that I just normally would not have come across. So I'm very grateful for the experience. So rather than being humiliated, at this point, I'm very humbled and just amazed at the restoration in lots of different areas of my life. And I just wanted to share, in the event that you are in an uncomfortable situation, or you you eventually go through an uncomfortable situation, make sure you learn what it is you need to learn, and make sure you don't stay there. I once heard a speaker say, "Don't put a period where God has put a comma." It is to be continued. So I'm very grateful for the process, and I'll be sharing some things that I've learned over the years. So you'll hear from me, and then I'm a businesswoman, so we'll have some business people on. And then my heart is for women to be well in every area. So we'll share on finances, we'll share on the spiritual, share some spiritual things. And there are a number of different areas that are that we need to be well in as women. And so I'm just here to share and to be transparent. And I want you to be encouraged. And we'll talk to you soon.